Hi, my name is Jason Morgan. I'm an artist. Welcome onto my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to cover this turtle painting. This is a time-lapse speeded up video. If it's too fast for you and you really want to see lots and lots of details and tips and techniques, I've got a 2-hour version over on my Patreon channel, www.patreon.com/wildlifeart. And as well as lots of painting videos, I've also got reference photos and copyright free line art over on there as well for you, so there's plenty of things for you on my Patreon channel. Now, as I said, on this video is speeded up. It gives you a real good general overview of how I've taken this complicated turtle subject, simplified it and started painting it in levels. So let's get to the painting. I transferred my drawing over using proportional dividers, and I started it on a piece of paper, then I traced it over onto canvas so there was no mistakes. Then I toned my canvas with acrylic paint, lifted out some highlights, let it dry before I started painting with the alkyd oils. Now, the first important thing was getting that sea colour correct, and I go over that in depth on my Patreon channel. And then I started using that sea colour as well to tone all the other colours underneath the turtle, because it was being influenced by that light at all times. Then it was a case of blocking in the major shapes and also starting a little bit of work on the eye as well. As lots of the scales were very large, I could paint them individually and leave sections so I could put the lighter parts in between it later on. And that really separated them and gave it a lot of shape and form to the head. Then I started blocking in the shell, first with the lighter colours before I started to block in the darker colours on top, wet in wet. And I knew this was going to be the first coat of many. For the flipper on the front, I decided to do it without putting all the details in and transfer that later on. Then I started to rework the head, refining it all the time. Adding details here and there really created more shape and form, but I didn't want to overdo the details on this particular painting. I wanted to go for a little bit of more of a painterly effect. Then I started to work more on the neck, creating creases and indentations, but making them more of a suggestion. Sometimes by not putting in every tiny little hairline, crack and crevice, you get a much more realistic effect. Then it was time to work back onto the dried shell and create yet another layer, and this gave it much more depth and substance. Then I traced over that detailed structure over the front flipper and used a rigger brush just to start to put in the lines that separated each of these smaller scales or platelets. Then I could work back on the shell again, really starting to add much more of the details and use my rigger brush to indicate the highlights. Then it was a case of reworking everything pretty much as a whole, and that's what I like to do in all my paintings. I'd let it dry the day before and then started to really refine it before adding the fish, and the critical part was making them recede into the background. So I needed to keep all the vibrant colours and the darkest lines forward on the fish, and that made them appear to disappear into the depth at the back end of them. The stripes were the main element that give the fish shape and form, so I needed to get that right too, and then I came back in with some real thick highlights. And then it was a final layer of refinement before I finished the painting over roughly 5.5 hours. If you're looking for more art resources, I really think I've got you covered. I've got a brand new Patreon channel, and on there every month I bring out exclusive full-length videos for you and also exclusive reference photos with line art. I've got a dedicated website for tutorials, that's jasonmorgan.co.uk. Lots of full-length videos, some of them up to 8 hours long on there, and there's also ebook tutorials as well if you'd like to read rather than see the videos. I've got a dedicated reference photo website, wildlifeart-online.com. There's over 900 images on there, all for you to use copyright free, and they all come with the Easy Trace line art as well. And don't forget, my YouTube channel is growing all the time. If you can possibly subscribe, then you know you're guaranteed not to miss out on any new videos and updates. See you all again real soon.